Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tech Down Over. I'm Harold Muliadi.
And I'm Geoff Blanchard, and we're joined this week by a guest we haven't seen for, about 8 months, but we'll introduce him after the intro. Here we go. And we're back.
We've got our good friend, photographer and videographer, Christian Gracz. How are you doing, Christian?
I'm doing fine, and you?
Good. And so I understand it's going to be your birthday in about an hour here, right?
It's in about an hour, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
awesome.
What do we say? Herzlichen Glückwunsch. That's what we say. So.
Yeah, that's right.
Congratulations for seine Geburtstag. So.
Oh, let's see. I've got this for you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this one.
Well, you know, it's an hour early, but
yeah,
wasn't expecting that.
So
we've got to look after the one viewer, like Rick always says. We've got to look after the one viewer we do have, our main viewer that we do have. So Harold, what was you going to say? Oh, sorry, I cut you off a second ago.
So the Panasonic S1 is coming out in, is it about a month or?
In end of March, I think, because they said they will announce it in the end of March, but they will fully announce it in the end of month, I think, because there are many rumors that say that they will announce it around January 30.
Okay.
No, 2 weeks, I think. Well, 1 week, maybe.
What lenses are they gonna have out for that at release? Like, what are you eyeing?
I heard that they will have a 24 to 70 f4, but no f1, f2.8, only a fixed f4 lens, but I'm not sure. But I think they won't have a 2.8 lens.
Now, for people who don't know what that camera is, the S1, what is that? Is that the full frame camera, Harold or Christian? Or what is that? The full frame camera? Or? This
is the first full frame camera from Panasonic, because before they were making mirrorless cameras, like the Micro Four Thirds cameras, like the G9, which I own and I'm shooting with. But I'm looking forward to the full frame camera as the sensor size is bigger, but I don't mind if the camera will be bigger because you have many advantages over the older cameras. But if you want a smaller camera, you can keep the G9 because the G9 is really good. I'm using it for all my shoots nowadays, and it's doing good. It's fine. I love it.
Yeah, well, I must admit, I don't mind if they make cameras a little bit bigger, because for full frame, let's face it, if you can't holding that camera a little bit bigger doesn't make that much difference. But if it makes a difference to the camera, I'm all for it being a little bit bigger. But it's strange to see with all these full frame cameras that still things like the G9 and the GH5 is still probably equivalent on the video side, because even with the smaller sensor. So do you know what sort of the video capacity of that new one would be?
I heard that it will have 4K also, but I don't know if 60 frames per second, but I think it will have 4K video and 60 frames per second. But they didn't announce any specs yet. They will announce it end of month. And yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is, the only one I've seen was the one when they did the release of that, and they hadn't had a working one out there. Has there been any more out where they've had a more working one, sort of trial ones out on there, or has anybody been doing reviews on them as yet?
Wait a moment.
Yeah. So Harold, have you seen much about that one at the moment? So.
I didn't hear the question.
I was saying to Harold, so has Harold seen much specs on the S1 or any photos from it or any videos from it?
I haven't really seen any of the photos or videos from it yet. I mean, I'm not too familiar with the specs, but I'm interested in seeing. I mean, it's going to be kind of the start of their full frame line. As Christian said, it's going to be their first full frame mirrorless, so it's going to be a pretty big thing for them. You know, around the time it was announced, I remember people saying that, you know, it's going to be the death of Micro Four Thirds or something because they're thinking Panasonic's going to move over to that. But I don't know. I see Micro Four Thirds still having a lot of utility for a good amount of time, especially since, I mean, full frame lenses, they tend to be, I mean, obviously they're better for many things, but they're bigger and they're more expensive. And depending
Yes, but also Olympus is going to announce a new Micro Four Thirds camera, which will be for pro users like sports. And also the rumors say that it will have equal video compatibilities like the GH5S.
Oh, wow.
Yes, it's awesome. And they also will announce it end of the month, I think, end of this month. But it seems like it will be a really great camera, but many people say that it will be too expensive because of the sensor size. Because many people think a smaller sensor needs to be cheaper. But I don't think so, because the specs are really good. But they have many frames per second, and it will have like a stabilizer, and it will also have like a high-res mode like the G9, like the older Olympus cameras. And it will have a new autofocus. They say they will have an autofocus like the A9 also built in.
Oh.
That's really awesome, but I'm looking forward what they will announce, because I don't think that Micro Four Thirds cameras are dead yet, like many people say, because of Panasonic switching to full frame.
Yeah, I mean, and speaking of the GH5S, you know, over here at our studio, we actually got one recently. We haven't used it a whole lot, but I mean, yeah, we've been very impressed with the video quality on it. Actually, the thing that caused by surprise, I guess, was that the colors on it are really good. Like just out of camera, you get pretty rich colors, and they tend to be pretty true colors. Like it's kind of almost like Canon colors or something like that. You know, with the GH5 and G9. Sometimes the video
no, I can't hear you anymore.
Sorry?
I couldn't hear you anymore right now.
Oh, sorry.
Now I can hear you again.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, but the GH5S, it's just very impressive colors. The detail on the video, really good. So if it's going to be similar quality to that, then there'll be some good video.
It will be really awesome, because I'm thinking about what will Panasonic release from the new Micro Four Thirds cameras, because they will keep on focusing on the S1 and S1 Air, but I didn't hear anything about the new Micro Four Thirds cameras from Panasonic.
Yeah.
But I suppose, being fair to them, even if they are going off forward with it, the GH5 and the GH5S is still quite up to date. And I think even, no matter how good it is, and that with the focus on their first full frame, people are just going to be clamoring for that, whether it's good, bad, or whatever it is. So I think it would be a silly move to bring out a new successor to the GH5 when they're doing their first full frame, because it will take a lot away from that, I think. So I think it would be wise to sort of wait until that one's come and then upgrade it. But since we last spoke, Christian, you and Rick with both the Sonics, I've upgraded to the GH5. So I was tossing up between the G9 and the GH5, but I went for the GH5 mainly because of the recording length on the video. And I think Harold was mentioning before the show that one of the reasons most of the cameras have the limited recording is because of the EU ruling on 29 minutes on video. And I believe, what are you saying, Harold, that you've heard that that's going to run out, so it might change the fate of a lot of cameras in the future?
Yeah, I heard that it was going to expire, I believe, sometime this year. And I think that's why, because Sony is going to be releasing the A6400, which is in specs wise, it's kind of in between the A6300 and A6500. But one of the main things about it is that it has an unlimited video recording time, and I think it's because of that EU tax expiring. That's what I've heard.
I believe that's the main reason that England wants to go out of the EU, because of that 29 minutes recording level. You see,
yeah, it's all the English photographers, right?
It's all to do with the English photographers. That's all it is for. But I thought that might make a difference. But even then, having said that, the 29 minutes recording in most cases is not a problem. It's only a problem if you're using if you're using a multi-camera shoot and you want to record continuously an event for 3 hours that you've got power on. But most of the times, if you're the cameraman, there's very rare occasions that you need more than the 29 minutes. It's in the one spot anyway.
Well, I never had a problem with the 29 minutes recording limit, because I shoot only small scenes, not full scenes like over 30 minutes. I only saw it being a problem when you're doing interviews or recording interviews or something like that, which are over 30 minutes. But I don't see any problem there, because you can make a cut there and it's fine. But if you want like full scenes, like going through a city or something like that, then this is a problem. But I didn't need to use it for that anytime soon. But I hope in the future that they will get rid of this 39-minute rule, and I hope it will change.
Yeah, and that is true. I mean, for a lot of purposes, the 30 minutes is enough, because you're not going to be usually shooting continuous like that. I guess it kind of, for us over at Relate Corporation, it kind of shows up more because we tend to do training stuff. So, we tend to be basically filming trainers who are talking for sometimes up to hour and a half, 2 hours, that kind of thing. So that's why we usually just end up using, usually end up using camcorders, like the, our main ones right now are the Canon XF405 and the Canon XF705, because they're just, the setup's really easy and they're pretty reliable and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think camcorders don't have this limit in the EU, only digital cameras. But I don't know why it is so, but it's strange for me. I didn't understand this.
I believe what it is. I believe what it is I think camcorders are. It's not that it's totally restricted. I believe camcorders are taxed at a higher rate, and that's why the camera manufacturers, for ones that they don't specifically market as camcorders, they just put that limit so that it doesn't get taxed at that higher rate.
But still, I still think camcorders still have their place, because no matter, like my old XA10 Canon video camera still kills the GH5 for recording facilities, for robustness, just to stick it on there, and it does, even though it's only HD, it does a great quality. GH5 is wonderful, but I still think for an event thing, a video camera still does still is the best robust thing for that. So I'm sure they're going to have a place in the future going along for a long time, I think, video cameras.
Yeah, I think so too, but I use digital cameras because I love shooting photos, also videos at the same time. Sometimes at concerts I do also shooting photos, and right in the next moment I do shoot some videos if I have a nice scene to film. And I can use, if I use my Panasonic G9 or my GH4 or GH5, for example, you can easily switch between photos and video mode, and you can also do great photos and great video at the same time. That's, I think, what is the big advantage over camcorders or video cameras.
Yeah,
and that's exactly right. I do it with, I've got the GH5, and that's why I got that, because I love to do the video, but I love the still shots and that, and you just cannot get that on a video camera. You can take some still shots, but I mean, it's still not the same. The quality's not there, whereas the GH5 is doing some wonderful shots on there. And as you said, you can quite easily quickly switch to the video on that with the excellent quality on that. But I'm getting a lot of joy out of that new Panasonic. Well, it's still relatively new for me. I only had it since September. So.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking forward for the new full frame Panasonic camera, because I used some other full frame cameras from friends and other photographers, but I didn't like them as much because they are maybe good at photos, but not as good in video mode. And I think Panasonic makes really great hybrid cameras to use in both video and photo. And they also make the camera a little bit bigger because of the new stabilizer they want to build in the S1. And if it's as good as in the G9 or GH5, it will be, for me, the best camera to buy in 2019.
Yeah, I mean, so far Panasonic's cameras, like the GH5 and G9 and so on, they have really good stabilization. So if they're gonna, I'm fully expecting that the stabilization on that S1 is gonna be just excellent.
And I must admit, I'm the same as Christian. I've been wanting to get a full frame camera for ages, but as I said, I do love the way Panasonic do combine the two things together, and I'm really interested to see what they do with their full frame, and it might be the thing that will send me over to get that full frame for the stills, and they should do a great job on video. But if they do the same with the same form factor it looks like on the GH5, and that, I just love their menus and just the way their cameras feel, and that they just feel nice and solid as well in that higher range.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, but I think that people complain about the new camera is that it doesn't have a tilt screen like the GH5. This is what I heard most in Facebook groups, what the people are talking about, writing about the tilt screen, and that the camera will be expensive because they want it to be as cheap as the GH5, but I think it will be more expensive. I wonder how much the price will be, and if it will be a bundle or something similar. But we have to wait to see the announcement.
And to be quite honest, the tilt screen, yes, I love the tilt screen. And I'm not blogging, so I don't need to see myself. But the main thing I love about the tilt screen is I can turn it around and hide the screen so it's not getting scratched when I'm just looking through the viewfinder. That's the main thing I use that for, is just so I can shut it over.
Yeah, that is a nice feature.
Yeah, this is also the main thing I'm using the tilt screen for, because I also use it to hide it from scratches, and I never use something like a screen protector on it, and it looks just fine because I can hide it every time.
And that's exactly what I do, and most of the time I'm not using that, so it wouldn't be a big problem. But that's why I like that flippy screen, that it can shut back in. I don't like the ones that are there all the time, like the Nikon. They have this one, but it looks like it's got like a big plastic thing to put over the back. What's that, the 810? Is it the... Harold, have you seen... Rick had the 810.
I'm not familiar with that one, but yeah, I know.
It has a 3mm perspex thing over the top of the screen, which it's a lovely camera, and it looks really horrible in that, so I thought...
It looks horrible. It's just a screen protector, but it doesn't look good for me either.
Yeah.
No, that's right. So, Christian, since we last spoke, you liked traveling a bit. Have you done any traveling since we've spoken?
No, I haven't. Sadly, I haven't done any traveling since, but I plan to go again to Japan this year. Also to Tokyo again, to do even more photos and videos, because last time I just visited the country to check out what kind of photos I can do next time and videos. And this time I really want to do much more videos and shoot also with local people there, maybe some models or something like that, because I love doing portraits. I also plan to do many more bigger projects this year, because I really want to do something out of my photography. And I plan this year to do many big projects, not because last years I only did some small shoots with people and some small videos, but this time I want to do many big projects with some meaningful messages. But because the last month I didn't do any shoots at all. I just edited maybe a video for some groups, and also I planned many shoots for this year last month, and they will keep coming, and you can see this on my site when they come out, because right now I didn't do any shootings at all, because I just did planning for this year.
Yeah, it's amazing the incentive you get when you do, there's lots to film at home, but when you do travel, it gives you that bit more of an incentive to get out there and do it because you've spent the money. Whereas, like I know Germany's got some lovely places to go, so's Australia. But when you live there, when you live in a place, you tend to not want to go there. You want to look because you think, oh, I've seen that, I've taken pictures of that, I want something else that people haven't seen all the time. Whereas I sometimes forget about that. You do some videos, oh, I've done that before. But other people are still interested in the things in your backyard. But I would love to go to Japan too. I think that would be the photography would be very good. Some of the scenery and just the way it's set up, I just think that would be a good photo shoot.
Yeah, that's why I want also to travel around Germany this time to meet other people, to shoot some models. Maybe not only in my hometown in Munich, because I've done this too much now, because I know all the people here around and all the spots here, because I want to see something new and do other projects with people so they can also benefit from it and I can benefit from it, meet new people, shoot something different in other countries, maybe Japan this year again. And that's what I plan for this year.
The only problem with going to Japan, I suppose, you'll get bombarded. You'll see all this lovely camera equipment and everything there, all the electronics and that. Spend a lot of time looking at all that stuff.
You can go visit all the camera company headquarters, right?
This was the main reason I bought the G9 is because I saw it in Tokyo last year and I felt in love with the camera when I tried it in Tokyo in the store. And that's why I bought it right now in Germany. As soon as I came back, I bought it.
Yeah, so as I said, they do. I do like the Panasonic, the way that they do the image that comes out of it. And I don't know about others who have the Panasonic, but I'm not I don't think I'm a terribly good photographer or a videographer, but the quality that comes out of it is great with not a lot of effort. When I get bad shots, it's usually when I make a real stupid mistake, like doing the ISO and just locking it on one, forgetting I've locked it on something and it's just done the wrong thing on there. But generally, when I see people who have really, really bad pictures, I think that they're really intending it to be that, because most of these cameras do it just an excellent job for most. It's more so the way people compose a shot rather than the quality of it these days.
Yeah, I'm also amazed by the quality of these cameras today, because I see some shoots of some older cameras, full frame cameras, maybe the quality is good, but when I use the new micro four thirds cameras for video, like the GH4, GH5, the quality is really amazing. But sometimes, like you said, I also made the mistake that I locked the ISO and my shot was really noisy, but it is what it was, and I used it. But also what I love about Panasonic cameras is that they also make firmware updates, updates from the firmware.
That's true,
for the software. And recently they announced an update because I had an annoying issue that it focused only on the background, and on the foreground they changed it really fast. And it ruined some of my shots even, because I had to cut them too shorter than I could use them, and they fixed it, and it's awesome. They fix it when they hear that there's some problem. They try to fix it if it's possible.
Yeah, that's in contrast to Canon, who they'll say we're going to release a firmware update for this camera, and it just never comes, or it takes like a whole year to come out or something. Panasonic seems to they update their stuff reasonably regularly, which is nice.
I had also already 2 firmware updates for my G9, which I bought last year, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
Also, they add new features sometimes for the camera, like for the GH4, they added new features in the last 2 years maybe, and that's awesome.
Yeah, it is a great thing that we have these days. We got so used to firmware updates, because I remember you bought a camera, like the old Canon A1 still camera. You buy it, that's the end of it. No. If you want, that's it. You get a new camera if you want anything different. There was no electronic updates or nothing on those ones. You were just stuck with it. So, whereas now at least they said you can buy cameras and think, oh, it's not quite the best but they'll figure it out, and it's usually only software that does that. And I must admit, the Panasonic now I don't have any problem with the focusing. And that last fix where you said where it would keep hunting on focus on things in the background, that seems to have gone away. And the only time I have trouble focusing with the autofocus on that is something I can't even see myself. I had a problem where I was filming a drone, somebody flying a drone, but it's very hard trying to focus on that little drone going there. I could hardly see it, so I couldn't blame the autofocus for not doing that. So most of the time, it said it does a fine job.
Yeah, it does a great job now with the firmware update, because it was, the problem was with the continuous focus when I filmed a moving human, like the model which was moving. It focused on the background really quickly, and you see this focus hunting really bad, and I ruined some of my shots, and I thought it won't get better, but they made the firmware update, and I tried it, and it's fixed. For me, it's fixed because I don't have any issues anymore. Maybe there's some issue, but I didn't see it on my camera.
But I think, like on any camera, there's going to autofocus is tries to do its best, but and I tell you, it does a downside better than my manual focus, because you wear glasses, and sometimes you think you've got it in focus and you haven't. So sometimes it's better off to the 1 in 10 times that it might get out of focus, rather than the 1 in 5 times it'll be out of focus if I do it manually. So I'm all one for trusting that. I'd rather get most of the shots rather than half of them being out of focus.
And there is the thing that, when Doug Jensen was on the show, he was talking about how lenses that are designed for autofocus, they have like a really short travel on the focus ring. So you turn it a little bit and the focal plane, shifts way too much. So it's way too difficult to do manual focus unless you're really steady with your hand. Whereas, for lenses that are built for manual focus, they give you a bit more travel so that you can adjust it a bit more easily.
Well, the thing is with the old ones, you've got the ring, where it is. Mm-hmm. It's on these electronic ones, you turn and then nothing happens. Then when you do, then all of a sudden gets into, and you're in and out all the time. Where the other one, you knew, I've got to get that into, I'll just turn it, it's going to focus. Yeah, because do half a turn, it's going to be there, and half a turn back will do it. But that doesn't work with.
Yeah, because nowadays they just travel all the way around and keep going.
Yeah. What I keep doing when I need some manual focus, because I do focus with autofocus before, and then I log in, and then I use the manual focus if I don't need any adjustment. When I'm shooting just this, and when I just need the subject in focus, then I switch to manual focus, and then it's locked on, and I don't have any problem.
Yeah.
But what's great about the Panasonic cameras or other cameras is that they nowadays have focus peaking. If you use manual focus, and you see what's in focus. If you do manual focus.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and it does a very good job. I've used that a little bit. I went out the other week to the airport to try and just film some planes, and you've got to use it manually, because the radar, when you're right at the airport, it affects the autofocus. It makes it pulse. I don't know what it is when you film planes. When you're coming in the planes, you can hear the radar seems to get in the way. It keeps focusing in and out when there's nothing there. So sometimes you've got to switch it off. But then, even then, you've got to judge, well, where's it going to be when I'm taking the photo? So you've got to wait for a few planes to go past to see, well, because you can't follow it there. You'll lose it by that time. But unlike a busy airport in either Europe or America, I went there and then there was no planes for an hour. And I thought, gee, Melbourne's not that big, not as busy as everywhere, but I had to wait for another hour before there was any. But in Los Angeles, I can sit there and have, in 20 minutes, I can have 40 planes going past. And that's, I don't know if you've ever done that, Harold, but I love sitting in the Hertz rental car lot in Los Angeles airport. And I've taken my car back there and sat there for 4 hours once with my camera, because it's so fantastic there. Because all the jets feel like the wheels are going to touch your head. They come that low.
I haven't done that. I do like the way the LAX looks. I actually I can't really pull it up right now, but I made a painting that like incorporated the LAX in the scene. But yeah, I like that. It's nice with all the planes coming in and.
What I dislike these days with a lot of the filming is with bad people around. They don't like you filming at airports, so
Right.
that'd be a good one to do. And like we used to have at the airport here, there used to be an observation deck, so you'd go in there, watch people within the airport that you could film. You filmed the planes coming into the gateways where they've banned that now, and like filming in subways, it'd be great going down the escalator, some great shots. But they ban you from doing that.
Yeah, nowadays they're so paranoid. They think that you're filming so you can figure out where you're going to put the bombs or something, right?
And they said the complaint about you doing that, but I can go on to Google Maps and get the street view and go on and see just that. But they've got a problem me filming and taking a photograph of a train station. But I mean, people can get that. But there's a lot of the things I like to film. You think, and then. Hey, if you get an iPhone out, nobody seems to complain. You can film all you like. But you get a camera out and people have a problem with it. Anyway.
Yeah, and I mean,
just
phone video quality is pretty good nowadays. You know, if you were filming something, you could pick up, people's faces and stuff like that. So it's not like there's I don't have a problem with the quality of the phone, but it doesn't. To me, I like to use a proper camera, and I like using that. And I don't feel as though I've taken a proper picture if I use the phone. I guess the thing is, what I meant though is that if you're using the phone video for casing the place for a robbery or whatever nefarious thing they're thinking of, you could totally use a phone for that video for that.
Yeah, and if you don't mind it being in the portrait mode, you just have it stuck in your top pocket and just film, because the camera sticks out there now, doesn't it? So nobody will know you're filming it. So Christian, we're nearly at the end of our time. So is there any major thing you want to push or tell anybody before we leave?
No, there's nothing major I want to tell, but I want to keep people updated. If they visit my website, they will get updates for my new projects which I plan for this year. And I will say that I always love to come here for the show. It was a long time since I wasn't here, and I always love it to come here and talk with you guys.
Oh,
thank you for coming on again.
And I hope you'll come back at another time.
For our viewers, we'll put links to Christian's website as well as his YouTube channel and his other social media in the description. So look out for that and check him out. He's a good photographer.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, hey, happy birthday again. Well, it's in 30 minutes, but happy birthday, Christian.
Oh, that's right.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you again. We'll have you on here again sometime. And to everyone out there watching, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Watch next, and he'll have his full frame camera next time. You watch. Panasonic full frame next time. Bye for now, everybody.
All right. Bye, everyone.
And we're off.